jump right into it, right?
Okay, that's fine.
So the Niners are weird, man. They had the guy that kneeled, right?
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Harbaugh had them on the right path, I thought.
Yeah.
They were, a play away from a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Then I guess Kaepernick falls off a little bit, or what happens there?
It was an interesting trajectory of what ended up happening because, he was ascendant. I mean, Ron Jaworski said he was going to be the next, just coming of the next great quarterback.
Right,
he was going to usher in the read option and all these different things because, I remember that playoff run and just getting there.
Yeah.
All those great things and, being so close to the Super Bowl, but Ray Lewis and the Ravens just...
Man, it was pass interference, though, I think.
That was a mess again. Of course, we had to have the blackout to come back.
Oh, man, I forgot all about that. Wow.
But you had all those things happen, and then Harbaugh left to go back to Michigan. He seemed to want to leave.
Yeah.
Harbaugh never seems to be comfortable in one spot.
Right, and he sucks at Michigan. I hate to say it.
Ugh.
And I like Harbaugh because he's a Bears quarterback.
Yeah.
So I really root for him. Go Harbaugh.
And it's always been interesting because, he was just this trajectory, but then the next coaches that came in, it just didn't seem to mesh. But I also think it's the same thing, which is why it's tough for a lot of these quarterbacks to do so well, especially when you get to the NFL.
Yes.
Because it's just like in baseball where you've got that hot rookie comes in and everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to hit 70 home runs and bat 400. But then pitchers get the book on him. They start to figure out what you're doing,
Right.
but then you need to adapt. And Kaepernick was still effective, but he just couldn't seem to keep and sustain what he was doing.
Gotcha.
So, at the time, he was not going to be the starting quarterback. Even before he started kneeling, he was going to lose out his starting
So
starting
before
job.
he started kneeling, so the year of the Super Bowl, then the next year they lose to the Seahawks.
They lose to the Seahawks.
And that was a play too or something that cost him that game. Then the year after, he goes blurry after that.
They start to kind of fall off.
Oh, okay,
they start to
okay,
decline
okay.
a little bit. And that's when you run into what these issues were, where he just wasn't sustaining what they were wanting to do or adapting to what the defenses were throwing at you.
Yeah.
Because the defenses are going to figure things out. The old saying, the other team has coaches too.
Yeah,
So-
they get paid a lot of money.
They get paid a lot of money to figure that out.
Right.
So he was going to probably not be the starting quarterback. They were battling for the job, and then he started kneeling, and then, of course, the whole idea gets thrown out with everything else that happens. And and that was the thing, because there's that argument that's always been where Colin Kaepernick started a lot of this message. He might have been a flawed messenger, kind of when he started.
Right.
He's talking about a lot of things going on in the world and injustice, and he's wearing a Fidel Castro shirt. It's like, what are you doing with that? Or he's shown warming up on the sideline, and he's got socks that show police officers as pigs.
I remember that. I do remember
and it's
that. I do remember that.
And trust me, especially everything that has been happening recently.
Yeah.
He's been coming back into this conversation a lot more. Even Pete Carroll, I think, said yesterday, as of this recording, he regrets not signing Kaepernick
I saw
to even a backup job.
Yeah.
At
He
that
said
point.
something about I guess he thought this was his excuse. He thought Kaepernick was a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do him that injustice
Right.
of benching him.
What so much of it to me, when they were talking about things, was, can he be a starting quarterback? Because I almost used it the same way as the Tim Tebow effect that a lot of people had, where you bring in someone like Tim Tebow, like when he went to the Jets.
Okay.
And Mark Sanchez was your starting quarterback.
Right. And Tebow's a better, I don't mean to cut you off, but Tebow's a better quarterback than Sanchez, in my opinion.
Tebow was such a great competitor. As being a
exactly.
Tennessee fan, I can't stand it.
I hate the game too. Yes.
I was there in 2006. I was in Neyland Stadium when he was a freshman
wow.
and came in, and Tennessee ended up losing by, I think, 1 point in that game. I was in the stands because I was finishing up grad school.
Oh, that's what's up. So you went to UT?
Yeah, I went
that's
to
what's
UT.
Up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
2 degrees from UT.
Oh,
so.
wow. Well, one of them broadcasting. We'll learn what the other one is later. But
It's another broadcasting degree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're both
okay.
And so when Tebow, though, came into the Jets, all the attention was going to him. Whether Mark Sanchez was going to be the starting quarterback or not, the media just flocked to Tim Tebow because he was great in college.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or not, he was a great competitor.
And he was great in Denver. I know I'm going to get shot for saying that, but I think he was great in Denver.
He did okay.
That pass at Pittsburgh was clutch,
yeah,
man.
It was.
In the playoffs.
It was. He won a playoff game, which is more than a lot of quarterbacks can do.
Thank you.
He got all the attention. The media just kept flocking. No matter, Mark Sanchez could have been almost perfect, but you throw one interception and you just have those people that just wanted Tebow in.
And Mark Sanchez too had the butt.
He had the butt fumble.
Yeah, that was bad.
He will never live that down.
That was bad, man. That was bad.
What sucks is he's a pretty good commentator on ESPN now.
Is he?
He does the college football broadcast.
I wouldn't even watch him if I saw.
And I feel bad for him because he's just going to be remembered for the butt fumble.
That's exactly. It was on Thanksgiving.
Oh man.
Or Christmas.
It was one of those holiday games too where everybody's watching. I remember watching. I was like, "Oh, he's not going to live that one down."
Yeah, it was over, man. From there, I was pulling for him, but.
So then, you move then with Kaepernick, where if you sign him, and he's your backup quarterback, the media is still going to just flock to him,
right,
and ask his opinions on everything. And again, he has said some things that have been very controversial when it comes to some of the stuff that we talked about earlier, and I think he's done some of the smarter things by really not saying a whole lot lately.
Right.
And then, of course, you had last year, they had scheduled that workout for him, but then he decides because they wanted him to sign a bunch of different things, because he seems like he really wants to have a job in the NFL, but he wants to do it his own way. And now, it wouldn't surprise me. There's been this idea floated around that the Minnesota Vikings, where, of course, all the stuff with George Floyd happened in Minnesota, the Vikings even signed him as a backup. I don't know if that's going to happen.
The Vikings have Cousins?
Yeah, they've got
He's
Kirk
injured.
Cousins.
He's may come back or not.
He's been injury prone. We'll have to kind of see. The big thing is Dalvin Cook is holding out. And he's a damn good runner.
You gotta have him to make anything work.
Yeah. So that's what you run into with all of this. And there's been so much happening, even over the last week in sports, as we've moved. The narrative needs to stay where it is with a lot of these things that are happening. But a lot of these sports things, especially when you look at ESPN and they say, well, now what's going to happen in the NFL? Are a lot of these players going to protest? What's going to happen?
Right.
And it's always interesting, and I talked about a lot of this on my last episode of the podcast that you can listen to.
Yeah, Modern Day Gladiators. Be sure to check it out. It's dope.
Episode 103 is Voices of Protest, talking about some of these guys who'd come out and spoken out very, very quickly. I mean, you had like Trae Young was back in Norman, Oklahoma. You had,
I saw another NBA player too was somewhere.
Steven Jackson was.
Steven Jackson, he was kind of the leading. He was calling in Minnesota, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was calling George Floyd like his twin.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of strange, man. What did you think about that?
It was
kind of weird. Out the blue, that was weird.
But he stood there with some of the other Minnesota Timberwolves.
Jamie Foxx was there too.
You have so many of these people bringing up these ideas and protesting. And it's great to see that. I thought it was great. Here in Knoxville, they had a protest last Friday.
Yeah, I actually had Constance Every on the podcast around that same time, right before all this happened, and we knew it was going to happen. And she actually was kind of spearheaded the whole peaceful protest. Took pride in it being peaceful.
Yeah, that was great. I saw her on the news a couple of times. With that too.
Yeah, and she definitely did her thing. But the reason why I bring her up is because it was interesting because you watched it kind of go south really quick. When the lady that was with Steven Jackson and them kind of was like, forget Target, forget everything, burn it down, So, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because
it was really cool to see Jeremy Pruitt and a lot of the Tennessee football players were out there
in Knoxville
at that one, which was amazing. I love seeing being proactive out there.
Right.
And Tennessee did a great job. They released a statement, like Coach Fulmer, and then all 15
I didn't
coaches.
see Coach Fulmer.
Yeah, well, he wasn't at the protest, but Tennessee had penned a letter that they sent out. They put it online.
I didn't see that either. Yeah.
And Coach Fulmer, as the athletic director, I'm still going to call him Coach. He was.
Oh yeah, I forget. I keep forgetting he's athletic.
Yeah, he's the AD.
Yeah.
And then all the other coaches at the University of Tennessee all signed the letter as well. So you had all of them saying, "Hey, we want this conversation to happen. And you want to protest, you protest. You do all these different things." Because especially, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that, especially in football and basketball, those big money-making sports, even in NCAA and, of course, in the professional rank, it's mostly African Americans who are there. Yeah. And it's these
it's call us black, man.
Yeah, okay. And see, that's the thing. Yeah,
call us black.
I can do that. Yeah. But yeah, you have.
But no, I mean, I'm just giving you a hard time because we homies, man. But
you have black athletes that are leading the charge out there, and they have such a different experience, and you have a completely different experience walking out the door than I do.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah,
and
no doubt.
Those are the stories that I think need to be told. That a lot of people need to listen to them.
Right.
It's like, I drive over here or wherever, and I drive by. I don't think about being pulled over, or the things I need to say, or anything like that. I walk.
See, and I drive to Knoxville.
Yeah.
And the whole way I'm 10 and 2. Look at when I'm crossing the bridge, like here around my house, I feel okay. I can lean back. But once I get on that highway, I'm like, I'm conscious of it. So
and those are the conversations that I think need to be had. Right.